thing is with me, I'll pay my way kind of thing if I have to. Like no one's could ever take me on a date and make me feel like I should be like grateful to be there kind of thing. I feel like, or like begging to be there kind of thing. Like they are paying for my lifestyle. So I always make sure like whatever it is, I know what I paid for. So I used to go out in Mayfair, there was one promoter, and he used to bring a lot of girls around his table and stuff like that. But he was like friends with one of my other friends, and she invited me, and I kind of just watched. Like I said, I watch people, and I kind of saw it was like all these girls, they're like falling all over him because he wasn't just a promoter. Like he's kind of whatever in London, and then all these girls are like just like basically in his ass. Like it was like they were literally like falling all over him, and he's nothing like special or anything.
Why do you think they were?
Because he's got money. Yeah, so,
you know when I said when guys observe what works?
Yeah. He's got
that works.
He's got money. But that thing is just doesn't really, I'm not saying I don't want someone that has money, but I have my own money, so I'd rather grow with someone than someone kind of.
Yeah, but I don't think you would choose someone who you felt you like you said grow with someone, i.e. someone who will be ambitious enough to level up their financial capability. But if I'm talking about that's very different than just choosing someone and accepting them where they are.
I feel like with money as well, like you can't, what do you do when you go on a date? Do you ask someone their salary? Do you ask how much they earn? No,
but girls are very discerning about how they assess a man's economic position.
I feel like if you're earning enough money to cover yourself, then we're already halfway there.
No, I hear that. But like when you're like, oh, I don't care about a guy having money.
No, I didn't say I don't think, right? No, but that can't be the only reason why you've brought me to the like why I'm at the table kind of thing.
No, of
there
course.
has to be others. So what I'm saying with these girls, the only reason why they were interested because he had money.
I hear that, and that's probably right. But there's a middle ground. There's a middle ground between, a girl just choosing a guy because he has money, and then a girl giving him an opportunity because he has money.
Yeah.
And while there will be some girls who would just choose a guy because he has money, having money sometimes can give, not sometimes, a lot of the time, can give a man the opportunity with a woman.
Yeah.
And because the hardest part for guys, the hardest part for men and women in dating is different. The hardest part for guys is getting the opportunity with women.
Yeah.
The hardest part for women is not getting the opportunity because there are plenty of guys who want you.
Yeah.
But it's getting the commitment.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? It's getting the serious investment.
That's very true.
So for a lot of guys, if we understand that the main obstacle for guys is getting the opportunity, and they see that these guys, if the guy who has money or the guy who's super attractive and ripped or very charismatic and stuff, they see that, okay, those guys get the opportunity, which is the biggest obstacle for men. That's why guys are going to be like, well, I want to show this. This is what I want to present.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I get that. What's something you want to ask or bring to conversation today?
Oh, but I just wanted to finish that topic.
Go for it.
Just because the reason I was talking about the money situation is because at one point when we were at this table, he tried to like basically touch me, but he put his hand on my back and kind of went downwards. And I was like, what are you doing? And he goes, oh, like, don't be like that. You know what it's like. Like, I invite you, you have food, you have drink. And I was just like,
oh, okay. Wait, so I have a question. So this is a club in Mayfair, right?
Yeah. It wasn't a club, like it was at Sexy Fish.
It was what, sorry?
Sexy Fish.
Oh,
restaurant,
okay.
Restaurant.
Okay. Were your things being paid for?
Yeah.
Okay. And you got in for free, right?
Oh, everyone gets
it's a restaurant, of course. But your stuff was drinks and food are being paid for?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that comes for free?
What do you mean?
So do you think someone paying for that stuff, they're just doing it because they just really like you?
No, but this is what I'm saying. So basically, I was my friend's plus one. So he was celebrating his birthday. He wanted loads of girls around him kind of thing. So my friend was close friends with him. I was her plus one. And I said, are you sure it's okay for me to come? Yeah. And then when we got there, he was like, order whatever you want, drink whatever you want, blah, blah, blah. So then when he touched me, I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, well, you know how it is, da, da, da. And I said, no, excuse me, sir. I know exactly what I've drank. I know exactly what I've ate. If you need me to give you the £180 that I've spent on this bill, I will give it to you right now. Do not think that this is a transaction kind of thing. Food and drink is not a transaction kind of thing. Just like if you're in a nightclub in Mayfair, and you want to promote this table and the drinks are free, no promoter can touch me. No person on the table can touch me.
I agree. I'm not saying it's okay for that to happen. But what I'm saying is that Because to get into a place for free in those extravagant places, right? That is a privilege.
100% it's privilege.
Do you know what I mean? It's so even though it seems like, oh yeah, we're getting this and we're getting complimentary for free because, you know, they just love who I am. It's kind of like, nah, they're doing it because they want beautiful women around them.
Yeah.
They want to be able to, you know, have a level of physical contact. Do you know what I mean? Because if we're being honest, let's just keep it a buck. If you were, you know, super overweight and didn't look after yourself, do you think you're getting into those clubs and places for free? And those places paying for you?
If I had a good looking friend, I would.
Without the good looking friend?
Then most likely no.
Do you see what I'm saying?
No, it's pretty privilege. Everyone knows about pretty privilege.
Yeah. What I'm saying, I'm not saying it's, like I said, I'm not saying it's okay for him to kind of touch you and stuff, but I think the reason in that kind of environment and culture, there's this level of the women being on top of him and all of this stuff is because essentially him, it does sound transactional, but he is paying for something.
Yeah, of course
He's not paying for you to just be there and enjoy yourself.
This is why I made it very clear. And that's what you have to do, is make it very clear that this meal, whatever it is, does not own me, kind of thing. My conversation was still there. I'm still polite. I'm very good company. I'll have a conversation with you with whatever you want to talk about, kind of thing. I'll try and add to the conversation. If it's something I don't know. Like, you know, I don't know what we're going to talk about, but I will try and add to the conversation as much as possible. But and I'm very, like I said, I have manners. I'm very polite. And at the end of the day, like I said, I don't put myself in situations when I cannot pay.
Well, I was going to say, I guess ultimately, it may not even be you being there kind of setting your boundary. It might just be like, okay, cool. Well, because I know other men paying for me when they don't even know me, but they're paying for me because of my beauty, they're going to expect something in return. I just know that I'm not going to indulge in that. Yeah. And it's just like, oh, that's not for me. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
But like I did go on a date once, and we went to one of these like fancy restaurants. It's next to Sexy Fish. It's called like Amazinko or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, it's got like a weird like name and like I can never pronounce it really. Okay. But it's right next to Sexy Fish though. And we went there, but we were supposed to go to Sexy Fish and he just didn't make the reservation. And then he said, because obviously my job, he was like, can you not make the reservation? I was like, well, if you told me in advance, I would have been.
You could have done it.
You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Like I wasn't really upset about it. I was like, it is what it is. We'll go somewhere else. And then it was a Thursday. So in Mayfair on a Thursday, you can kind of get into most restaurants. You don't have to wait too long. So we went to this other place, which is still like quite high class and stuff. And yeah, it was a bit of a weird one because he had a drink before we went and he picked me up. And I don't really like when people do that because firstly, I don't know what your tolerance is like.
Oh, because he had a drink before and he was driving?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I understand that.
Before he picked me up. And then he had a drink in the car as well, which also made me nervous.
I agree. Was that your first date?
Yeah.
And he picked you up?
Yeah.
Huh.
I felt like maybe he was nervous because he was like chatting a lot and drinking and
He was using drink to lower his nerves, maybe. Make him loosen up a little bit. Yeah, it's a thing.
So then we went into the restaurant and he said like, look at this. Then he's going in there like, look at this. And I'm like, okay. Thinking, does this guy have contracts in here? Like the way he said like, look at this.
Look at this floor plan. I designed it. Me.
Yeah. So we go in there and he goes, yes, I have a reservation. And I think it was like, what, like 7 o'clock or something? He's like, I have a reservation 7 o'clock. Said so calmly. And then the lady's like, oh, what's your name? He says his name. Oh no, I definitely got the reservation. Oh, what's your email address? Says his email address. He is fully blagging this.
Right.
He has not got no reservation at all. Yeah. And I'm just awkwardly standing in the doorway and I'm like, oh, someone just swallow me whole right now. Like, what is going on? The doorman's looking at me. The woman behind the desk is looking at me and I'm just like, and I feel like they feel pity on me because they're like, okay, so we've got a new reservation for you. So they just give him a reservation. We sit down. Yeah. And we ordered drinks. We ordered like porn star martinis. Yeah. And then he was like, I'm thinking he don't need any more drink.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't need any more.
100%.
So he's like, oh, like, yeah. And then he went to hold my hand on the table.
On the first date?
Yeah. Right. I didn't like it.
That's quite swift for me.
I didn't
That'd
like
be
it.
very quick.
I don't like people touching me. Like, unless I like you, you can't touch me.
I
And I
get
need
that.
to warm up to you as well. Like, you can't, like, you know when people say, "Oh yeah, like kisses standing on the first date." I don't like it. Like, it could happen maybe, but don't think it's definitely gonna happen, because if I don't
agree.
I need to warm up to certain people. You know what I mean? So then he went to hold my hand, and I was like, no, like try to like just say it politely, like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And he was like,
Taken aback.
and he's like, don't do man like that. He went fully hood.
Wow.
He
what?
went fully hood. So he's been all like posh boy before that. And then he just went from like, I don't know, Prince Harry to Central C. Like, I was like, what's going on? Like, and he was like, don't do man like that. And I was like,
He was like, maybe she'll listen in this language.
Like, yeah, literally. Maybe she likes the hood guys. But yeah, and then I was like, do you like what? He was like, wow, you're gonna violate man like that.
You're that person, you know what? So it's like, yeah, me and my friend. You're like, my friend and I.
Yeah, literally.
Oh my god.
And he was like, you're gonna violate man like that. And I'm thinking, he's just getting worse. It's getting worse.
That's
and
so
then everyone's
interesting.
watching us as well while this is happening.
Dead.
There's like tables all around us. And I'm just like, I just don't feel comfortable holding your hand. And then I was like, maybe you should just, have a glass of water.
You said that to him?
Yes.
What, Shan?
I know it was the wrong thing to say.
I mean, you deliberate. You knew what you were doing with that line, though.
He needed some water. I don't know.
You were poking him a bit, and now I'm not saying he shouldn't have
maybe
been poked.
have some water. And he was just like, you know what he said? He was like, now you're talking to me like my ex.
Now he has issues.
So then it was red flags from there. Really,
I think it's
it was
issues.
red flags from there, and then luckily the food came just as he started getting a bit like after he said that, and I was like, okay, like, and the food came, and it's kind of like it was like a buffer. It was like we had a third person on the table. You know what I mean? The food was there, we were eating. The level was kind of chilled out a little bit.
What made you go on the date with him in the first place? Why did you go on a date with him?
I don't really do first dates.
What do you mean?
I probably do I try and avoid them as much as possible.
Yeah, but that was a first date.
Yeah, that was the first date.
So
but
what made you go on a date with him?
He was nice.
When you say nice, what does that mean?
He was nice and he was funny.
Okay, but what made you? I'm guessing it was like a dating app, right?
Huh?
I'm guessing it was a dating app, or did you slide into your DMs, or
how did you guys connect? I met him when I was out with my friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like during the day, it was just like lunch and stuff, and then he kind of just said to me, he was like, "Oh, you're so beautiful," and stuff like, like that. And he was like, "I'd love to take you out one day." My girls were there; they were like, "Go on, do it." And I was like, "I don't really want to do it," but I was like, "You know what? Take a leap, do it. Like, put yourself out your comfort zone." This is why I don't do this very often.
So the reason I'm asking is because it sounds like from this date, personality-wise,
yeah,
he was not a match for you by any means.
Yeah.
But you still gave him the opportunity.
But I couldn't. I felt like I'd be mean. Like if I said no, he was there with his friend. My girls were there. There was a lot of people watching.
No, but
pressure.
saying yes in the moment, but you actually followed through.
Yeah, because
so there was a reason you said yes.
He did actually make me laugh.
Okay.
Yeah, like in messages and stuff like that. It was quite funny and quite like we had quite good banter and stuff like that.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like maybe it was because it's different. Oh, like they call them like when people's behind a screen, they're different. You know what I mean? And then when they're face to face, one-on-one, maybe if we've done a group setting, like a group date, it might have been all right.
Might be different. Yeah, to be fair, I guess I think this is an opportunity to highlight how even though personality-wise, you guys weren't, on the same vibe and frequency, he still got the opportunity to go on a date with you.
Yeah.
And I think there's something that you saw in him that you liked, whether because he looked good, whether it's because he was stylish, whether because he came across that maybe he was in this great financial position, etc., etc.
I think it's because he was like confident as well. I think it takes a lot of guts to go up to someone in public and be like, hey, like, I would love to take you out. You know what I mean? You don't really get that too much. It's more like social media, like someone sliding into the DM, someone like snapping you or asking for your snap. Like, and he asked my number as well. I feel like that was a big green flag, big green tick.
It's like he's a gentleman. He's not a
Yeah.
modern day man.
until he has
I
a few
hear
drinks
that.
in him.
Yeah, that's true. And then he went hood on you.
Yeah.
If you really enjoyed that clip, if you want to watch the full episode where that clip is from, then I want you to click right here where you can watch the full episode. And if you're ready to claim your man today, enroll in my program below, and I'll see you there. Wishing you an amazing day.